Today we are going to be fitting the Thule Wanderway 911002 bike rack black on this T6.1. Let's see if it's a one-man job. Welcome to Kombi van life. Right, so I bought this black Thule Wonderway for the T6.1. I think the black will look a lot better. We've gone for the grey black theme. Got this off Amazon. I'll put a link down below to the page where I got that. So we're going to see if we can fit this on my own. Most videos I've seen online, there's two people doing it, but it's not that heavy. I'm sure I can do it. So what I've done is opened the tailgate and just put an old rucksack in there, just wedged, just so it doesn't close completely, which gives us a bit more of a gap. And I don't know if I actually needed it, but that's what I've done. So let's get this out and see what we're looking at. Okay, so it's a massive box. There's not many places that actually deliver these, so that's why I went for Amazon. And there we have it. This is what you get. So there's the bike rack. Looks very nice. Tools in there, instructions. It's all put together pretty much. You just need to put it on the van. There's not really any building, which is quite good. So let's get these out. So this is the Torx wrench that comes with it for tightening everything up. That's just safeties. This is the instruction booklet. Thule are pretty good quality stuff. Nice and clear, shows you what you should have in the box, what you're going to need, little step ladder, where you put the protection strips. Now stick around till later because I'm adding something to this just to protect this metal down here, which is a little tip I picked up online, so I'll show you that later. So let's get it out. What I'm going to do is, it's got all these measurements on where to put these tapes. 196 mil from the edge of that to there. Now, I don't completely trust that because it's a bit vague here, so I'm going to get it out and just hang it on to offer it up to get it in the right place, and then mark it with a pen. I just find that's going to be more accurate. And then we need to get some isopropanol on this, clean it down where the protection tape's going to make sure it sticks. So let's get this out and offer it up. So it's not that heavy, you know, it's not too bad. Pretty sure I might be able to manage this by myself. Just be careful not to hit the van or something, or hit the window. I've got to be careful that I don't mark that there. They've got rubber bits on them, but I don't want to be sliding it around. Okay. So that's what it's going to kind of look like when it's on. They clip into there. There's only really one place it can go, and then they hook onto there. So the protection strips go on here and here. So let's measure up, because what we want to do is make sure the distance is here, that gap there, and that gap there are fairly similar, so it's even. So we'll see if that 196 is about right. Okay. Seems to be. So we have about 5 mil there and a little more there, so we might go this way a little bit. So what they give you in here is this 3M sticky pad set. Well, it's like PPF, paint protection film, with 4 on, 1 for each corner. Okay, so we're just going to measure it to the 196. So that all looks good. We'll take that off, measure it, give it a clean, and stick those on. Okay, so what I've done is up here, to get it perfect, because I'm quite particular like that, fussy, there's a tiny little dot on the rear light here, right in the centre. So rather than measuring from the edge of this, which is a bit random, I've measured from there, and from there to the edge of that is exactly 70 centimetres, from there to there, from there to there. So I've got that in exactly the right place. So I'm going to mark, I can't stand things being slightly out of line, so I'm going to mark with a white or black pen exactly where they are. So when I stick the protective PPF on, it's in exactly the right place, hopefully. So let's get this, so let's mark that just with a black pen, wipes off. So I can see exactly where that's going to go. Now I'm going to mark that slightly under there. Plan might not work because I'm going to wipe this down now. with isopropanol. So probably should have cleaned it first. This is what I'm cleaning it down with. IPA, leaves no residue, evaporates, neat alcohol basically. Anywhere where you're putting a sticker, graphics, vinyl graphics, wipe it down with this first. So I've just kind of avoided that mark I've put there, as get it closer as possible. So what I should have done is cleaned this down first and then put my mark on there. Because this will take it clean off. So now we have these two big pieces. A bit difficult to see because they're clear. And they go here. .196 from there, so we'll mark that as well. About there. It's pretty much just away from where I had that mark against the bracket. Right, let's get that on. It's hard to see it. Right, so it goes that way round. And once you've stuck this stuff down, if you get a little bubble, just get a really sharp scalpel. Tiny little hole in it. And then you can get the air out. Okay, as I say, I'm being proper fussy. Probably don't need to be, because you're not even going to really see this. So let's get it on. These things are slightly shaped, so you got that angle there, so you know that that goes on the edge of this. Get it exactly like that. So see if we can do a better job of this one. It grabs pretty quickly. So you've got to kind of get it right first time. So we're going to squeeze this down as we go. First time's always a lesson. You don't want to stretch this really, if you can avoid it, because that's when you get creases and things here. And the trouble is it sticks really well. So it's got a tendency to grab as soon as it gets near the paintwork. Much better. Tuck that down under there. And what we're going to do is open the boot. So I'll show you what these look like up on here. That's what that looks like. We're going to open the boot. I mean, there's a couple of marks. You're not even going to see that because the bracket's going to be over that. It's a bit annoying, but I'll open this to see if I can see underneath to really stick that underside down. Yeah, we can. So there it is there. So let's get that nice and stuck. In hindsight, it would be a good idea to open this and clean all under it first. I did give it a wipe from the top, but you can get at it better when you've got this open. That's good. Get yourself one of these squeegees with a felt edge on it. Put a link to these as well. Okay, that's on. Let's get the rack on. So that's that bit done. What we're going to do first is clean this though. Don't want to lose that. Again, this wraps around underneath, so you can get this really nice and clean. This isopropanol evaporates pretty quickly. So like I did then, I sprayed it on the van. By the time I'd gone to the other side, it evaporated. Just because it leaves no residue, removes all the grease. Okay, that's that done. So now let's stick this on. And I'll line up with my lines that I've got there, which are there and there. So now we know that's the right place. Now there's no bolts or screws or anything on the top. It just hooks in. It's these bits that secure it on. So next we need to get the protective bits in there. And I'm going to put an extra little bit of protection because I've heard online of people saying that even with the PPF on there, because of the slight movement you can get some damage to the paintwork on the side here. So stick around, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so the next ones, these are shaped so you get the right side. So this is this one. So these are a bit easier to get them lined up because this is already here, so you can see where it's got to go. So this is this shape. I can clearly see the shape of this and where it's going. So I'm going to lift that out of the way. Oh, God, it does grab once it's. We've got to get this underneath here. And it's got to overlap again because we need it to go around the back. Difficult getting it in place, it just wants to grab on. There. No, not happy with that. Some people may not be quite as fussy as I am with this, but that looks good. Squeegee. Again, what we've done once we stuck this on, I'll open the boot and really give that good press down. This stuff's a bit easier to work with if you warm it a little bit. I might have got the sheet there in the sun, so it's more pliable like that. Downside of that though is that it softens the adhesive so it grabs quicker, which is what was happening to me there. It's the same on this side. Then all we really need to do is tighten it up. So we were just above that swage line. Like that. This one's been in the sun a bit longer and it grabs. So not easy. There. You'll just suddenly get it. You don't want to get too many fingerprints under it because they do kind of show, especially if you've got muck on your fingers or dust on. Okay, that's on. Right, I'm going to lift this off, Make sure that's pressed down properly. And also, I'm going to show you something that I'm going to do to protect that paintwork a little bit more. Let's squeegee this down properly. That's good. That's good. Make sure we've got it right, so that's not wrapped under, you see? So if these things ever come off or wear or anything, you can just get sheets of PPF. That's all it is, paint protection film. Get them online. I'll put some links to some on Amazon. You can just cut it to shape. Doesn't really matter what shape it is, as long as it protects it. You can put multi-layers on actually. But there's not a lot of protection there. So that's now wrapped around. You can barely see it under there. But what we want to do is get a bit more protection on these. So this is what wraps around under there. And what I'm going to do is I've got some old bicycle in a tube. So what I think I might do is slice it, can't even see where it is, and wrap it around there so it gives it just even more protection. So let's get that. Right, so we've got some old bike inner tube here. I'm going to cut a slice that's the same width as that metal bracket there. Wrap it around it, maybe glue it on, just to give it a bit more protection. Little tip I picked up on the T6 forum. You don't want any with any writing on. So whether it'll stick or not with glue, because it's a bit powdery there, we'll put some isopropyl on it. So we want it just a little wider than that bracket, so about there. And we'll just cut that down the middle, which will do both sides. There. So this is going to go up under there, like that. I think that's a good shout. Yeah. Okay, so let's get rid of all this horrible powdery stuff. See if we can glue that on. Right, so we've stuck these on. I used this Loctite Power Gel Super Glue. It's pretty good, this. I use it for lots of stuff. It seems to stick most things. So what I've done there is stuck that on. See that? Wrapped it round and underneath. And the same on that side. I just think it's going to give it a bit more protection, because that is just, it's rubber. Is it rubber coat? Yeah, it's got like a rubber powder coating on it, that bit, that bracket, but I can just see it rubbing the paint off that even without paint protection, so I've put them on. Don't think we need it on top, because those things on the top, they hook in different, but this is where it tightens up. So we got that on. Let's get it on and tighten it up. So before I do that, actually, I'll show you these. So I had to replace these gas struts, because the standard ones that come with Volkswagen aren't up to the task to hold the bike rack on when it's up. I mean, you never lift it up with bikes on it anyway, but the standard struts are not man enough to hold that up with the bike rack on it. So I'll put a link to these, and also this video was me changing them and how to change them, and a massive fail I had. So watch that, watch it to the end. There's a blooper at the end. You can see I smashed my hand apart. So watch that on changing them first before you put this bike rack on. Let's get it on. Careful, careful. Get that lined up to my lines. Looks good. That distance is about the same. That distance is the same. So what I did check to make sure I've got it in place, because these, I thought these slid, but they don't. So that's a fixed distance there. So between there and there, it's about a centimetre by the looks of it. And that side is exactly the same. I know it's dead centre now. It's close to dead centre as we can get. So now, relaying to the instructions, we've hooked that over. We've unscrewed that. We need to hook them round, tighten them up. Tighten each one up 50% and then alternate it. And then this tool that comes with it has got a torque reference on it. So let's show you this. So you can see that gap there? You tighten it up until this bit is in between those two, and then that's enough torque. Pretty good. Good little tool. So you know exactly how tight you've got it, so you don't overdo things. So let's get this. Comment down below if you've fitted one of these to your T6, T6.1, and whether you faffed about as much as I did, or just got it on. It can clearly be done with one person. I've not seen one online yet, anyone doing it with one person, so I was a bit skeptical. This is probably going to be easier to do after the boot was open, but I don't want to be opening the boot all the way up. With this not tightened up. So I'm just going to nip that up so it doesn't move. That's that one. I think that bike inner tube is a good shout. Look, might trim these bits off, make it look a little bit neater. That's just me being fussy. Let's tighten this side up. See this bit here, it's got nice rubber pads that push against there, but it's that bit, that's just metal. It's got rubber coating on it, but not much. And I can just see it taking the paint off this. There's bound to be some movement when you're driving around, and especially when you've got bikes on there bouncing around with the potholes we've got around here. So let's tighten this up so it nips it. And then we do 50-50, a bit each side, so it doesn't drag it to one side. Then we've actually got little rubber caps that go on these hex heads. Let's tighten that bit up, this side a bit more. Got to be careful with this thing not to scratch your light plastic, because it does kind of get near it when you're this bit. You'll see when I turn this, because of the angle of that, there's not a lot of room. Great idea, but I suppose I could lift it up and do it, but I want it in place almost. I tell you what I could do, open the boot a bit more, so I can see where two people could come in handy, because you've got someone can hold it open a little bit while you're doing it, but that's giving me a bit more space. And just go from side to side, tighten them up. It's nowhere near the torque level, although I can feel it getting a lot tighter. I mean, there's quite a bit of weight to this, and you put two mountain bikes on it, it's going to be heavy as hell, so I can understand why it needs to be pretty tight and secure. You don't want any movement. Right, it's getting there. It's getting near the torque level. So, as you can see, this here, let's turn it around so you can see that bit. That has to be in between them. See, it's getting close, and there, that's pretty much it. See again, that's in the middle, so that's done. We'll do the same on this side. There, that's in the middle. Done. And then we've got some little rubber caps. Hopefully I haven't lost them. Oh no, they're there. If I can get them out of the bag, there's one. these just push on there. Pretty loose, so how long they'll last before they disappear, who knows. I'm sure you can buy spares of these things. Thule are pretty good with spares and stuff. And that pushes on there, like that. Nice looking rack. So this is the Thule Wonderway 911 with 9116 bike adapter. So it comes with 2 on it. Tie this mess up and then we'll have a look at what we've got. So what do you think about that? I think that's a good shout, that rubber on there. I think that's a good shout. Hopefully it won't foul the light. I think there's a big enough gap. Let's get this out of the way. No, plenty of room. What we will do is see how easy it is to lift it up without, no problem at all. It actually makes it a little bit easier to close it with that on, because those gas struts are pretty heavy duty. Now, this just unclips from here. Yeah, we just slide it down like that, and then it's properly stood in the way of the camera then. So let's do that again. It's got these bits, look, that hold it in place, stop it from going anywhere when you're not using it. So you just pry it apart and then pushes into those bits there, which hold it in place when you are using it, like so. What's good about this is, if any of you've had bike racks before, sometimes you've either got to flip the bikes the other way around so the handlebars don't foul each other, or the pedals. You can actually, it's so adjustable this. You can undo these and slide these. So you can stagger it. So you can get the bikes properly close together. I think that's quite cool. So you can stagger that, and you can also slide these somehow. Yeah, they just slide. You just pull them to get, depending on the size of the bike. Quick release. Pretty impressed, really. You've got these clamps here for the bike stand. I'll probably take these off when I'm not, well, I will take them off when not using. You don't leave them on when you're not using the bike rack. So there we have it. That's the Thule Wonderway Black bike rack. And here's the Thule Wonderway fitted with 2 mountain bikes on top. Pretty solid. They don't move at all. These strap down on the wheels, and these are the 2 arms. All good. If you like this video, check this one out next.